Hello, students. Last week for our launch, we read a really good article. I thought it outlined the basics of the flu um, for teens, and which is why I chose that article. But I also chose it because that seems to be, when we turn on our TVs, talk at our schools, or no matter where we're at, is everyone is trying to take the preventative measures for getting the flu. And one of the things that was talked about in the article was probably the best preventative measure. And every time you hear anyone on TV or anything written by the CDC, it's, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. So that's what I want to talk about today. And you might say, we're going to talk about washing our hands. Well, we are, because there's actually a correct way to wash your hands. And if you don't do it the correct way, you might as well not really wash your hands, because you will still have the germs remaining on your hands. And I don't know if many of you were ever able to participate in the black light experiment, and that's when many would wash their hands and then come back, and we would shine the black light on their hands, and you would see the germs that were left. It was an eye-opener for most students. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And not hand washing is not just, a way to prevent the flu right now, but it's really a way to prevent germs from getting into your body. And not only is it important to, wash your hands correctly, but you need to make sure you start training yourself to keep your hands away from the portholes into your body, meaning your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears. You don't want to touch really anywhere around your face. And that's really difficult to do, because if you actually concentrate, just take one day and concentrate how many times you'll find that you're leaning on your hands and you have your hands by your mouth, or you're rubbing your nose and then you don't wash your hands, or you sneeze or you cough and you don't wash your hands. So you want to make sure, like I said, that you just train yourself. And believe it or not, I've done that, and it's pretty easy now. But you just do not touch your eyes, your nose, your mouth, or really your ears. Those are the portholes into your body. And you want to remember too that whatever you come in contact with your hands all throughout the day, that's what's remaining on your hands. Those are the germs that are remaining on your hands until you do properly wash them. And there's times that it's very appropriate that we need to shake someone's hand, but pretty much what you're doing is, when you shake that person's hand, you are shaking probably 10 other people who if they've throughout the day have, taken the time to shake 10 other people's hands, but they never washed their hands. Those are all the germs that are also going to be on your hands. Touching doorknobs, even going up a stairwell and you're putting your hand, the whole way on the banister. We can't wear rubber gloves all day. We can't do that, but we can wash our hands. We can do that, and we can train ourselves to keep our hands away from our face. So, what are some times we want to go ahead and make sure that we take advantage of washing our hands? Well, first of all, when our hands are dirty, which pretty much are most of the time. I think when I come home after working, the first thing I do is I head to my sink and I wash my hands. I don't want to bring the germs from the outside into my home. So just kind of think about that. You want to make sure, before you eat, especially, some of the foods we eat with our fingers and our hands. So you definitely want to always wash your hands before you eat. And the big one is after using the bathroom. So many studies have been on, how many people really wash their hands after using the bathroom. And the negative of that study is many don't, but you really should. It's so important to prevent, the E. coli, the different germs, from not washing your hands after using the bathroom. So that's a big one. And then now with the flu, we're talking about, blowing your nose or coughing in your hand. If you're near a sink or a bathroom, go wash your hands. Use a Kleenex. A big one too is, when after you're done playing with your animals and your pets, we think, no, they're not dirty. But you know what? They really do. You have the pet dander, so you really should just go wash your hands. After playing outside, again, you're touching all types of surfaces. So come inside, and that's what I said is I never come home without washing my hands. Very first step I do when I enter into my house. You want to make sure if you're visiting a sick relative or you're around a friend who's sick, again, you want to make sure you wash those hands and keep those hands away from the portholes entering into your body. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the very simple steps to properly washing your hands. So I think what we most do is we walk into the bathroom, we hurry up, we lather up, rinse, we're done in 10 seconds. But if you would do the black light challenge, your hands would not be clean. So the first thing we'll talk about is soap. It doesn't have to be antibacterial soap. It can be, that's okay, but it doesn't have to be. It can be whatever type of soap that you have in your home, or whatever type of soap you find when you're in a restroom, at a restaurant, or at school. Any soap is okay. It's okay to use. You want to make sure, okay, you put the soap on, and you really want to lather both sides of your hands and your wrists between your fingers. You want to make sure that you also take time to wash around your nails. This is one place where germs love to hide. Some articles tell you 10 to 15 seconds, and they say, that's long enough to sing happy birthday. What I say, because most of the articles from the CDC, it really tells you 30 seconds, especially right now with the germs, flu germs going around. So you can sing the ABC song, you can count to 30, and you want to count 1001, 1002, 1003. And while you're doing that, you want to be really scrubbing those hands. You don't have to scrub them hard. You just want to make sure you're getting all areas of the hands. You want to rinse very well, and then you want to use a clean towel to rinse your hands. If you're using paper towels in a restroom, what I highly suggest is you rinse your hands, grab the paper towels, dry your hands, use the paper towel to turn off the faucet, because everyone has just touched that faucet. So the chance that there's germs on that faucet is pretty sure there are. You want to turn the faucet off with a paper towel, and I even open the door to go out and then discard the paper towel. That way you know that you really hopefully did every preventative measure, to carry out the germs. So like I said, that's very easy steps. It seems like a very, minor lesson, like Mrs. Martha, why are we doing this lesson today? But it is an important lesson, and I have found since I started teaching the hand washing lesson, and since I've really concentrated on keeping my hands away from my face, rarely do I get sick. I really follow everything I just talked to you about today. I really follow those procedures, and it has helped me, because we can go get the flu shot, which I did, but that's something that has to be between you and your doctor. But washing your hands is really just on you. That's something you can do. Take the initiative and really work on it. So I'd love to hear this week how everyone's doing. And this week I'd really want you to concentrate on keeping your hands away from your face. And then maybe taking those extra steps and washing your hands just a few more extra times. And the last thing I want to say to all of you is, wow, I'm so excited this semester that so many are working in the class, staying on pace. Love that you're reaching out to me for help. I love when I sign on and I see all the Hangouts asking for help. Canvas students, please make sure if you're having any difficulty getting into the class, please reach out immediately. Don't just wait and think, well, I can't get into the class, I'm not going to do the assignments, because that will backfire, because I'm here to offer the help. That's pretty much for this week. Have an awesome week, and I look forward to working with you next week.